Welcome to the Actually Doing Things podcast. Today, I'm so happy to be joined by my friend Zen.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, are we doing last names too? Zen Yacovelli?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. What's Yacovelli? What is that, like?
Italian.
Italian?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'm glad to have you here today. Winging it with interviewing you seems like the best case scenario.
Most definitely.
Yeah, but we wanted to keep talking anyways from our last conversation, so let's just record it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I do need to just kind of ask you the basics of how did you get into CrossFit and like what is, I think the thing we like to ask is what's the most risky thing you've done in your CrossFit journey?
Yeah. Well, so I was fortunate that my older sister, Melissa, was the one that got me into CrossFit. She has relocated to Texas, as you know, but she used to coach here, and so she was the one that like got me in the door to try it. And I would say, as far as like, gosh, actual movements risk-wise, or I mean, to me, it was risky to even show up. As a person that has like struggled with my weight for most of my life, I feel like it was really like it felt scary to just come into a gym and not know how, like anything about weightlifting, you know, not really have much behind me in cardio or any of those kinds of things, or really knowing what all CrossFit like contained, I guess, all of the goals that that it has.
Yeah. What were kind of what were the risks? What were your fears coming in here?
Definitely like being judged for not being able to perform certain things in a class full of people that could. So also, I guess I had, you know, hopes in mind that this would better my like physical health and my mental health and things, and so I was also worried that like it might not help me in the ways that I was hoping to find that help.
Kind of fear of disappointment,
right?
Almost? Yeah.
Yeah, like I wasn't sure what I would, you know, and then also as it started out with like, you know, going through starting at L1, right, and feeling like I would never ever be at a point where I could RX a workout. And that to me, just because there was something about kind of, if I saw it on the board, I wanted to get up to the point where I could do that, you know?
So you obviously faced that fear and you started.
Yeah.
So risky move there starting. And then what has your journey been like?
Oh, it's been incredible in here. My sister recommended that I come when I was at like a really dark place. The last probably 2 years have been about in and out of the darkest times of my life, and I feel like this place showed me strength I never knew that I had. And not just physically, like definitely mentally and emotionally, and like the resilience that is within me. Like I remember when I first got my first 20-inch box jump, and I was, you know, would be watching people before that and be like, oh my gosh, I could never get a 20-inch vertical, like there's no way. Or like, you know, actually pulling off like a clean and jerk with plates on the bar, like those kinds of things that as I, you know, practice the fundamentals and just like consistency was everything. And I remember there were a lot of times where I was like, I don't know if it's more sweat on the ground or tears from like the day I'm having, but like it helped me work through those things. And that was just incredible to me. I also feel like having the opportunity to use the cold plunge was like really helpful with how dysregulated my nervous system had been for, you know, the last 30 years. So that's so cool. Yeah, that was big for me too.
So you came in and you got to experience that that amazing piece of exercise, which is like building your stress resilience.
Right.
Right. But also your fear was that people would judge you or that you wouldn't be able to do the things. And how did your perspective on that shift as you started getting, more experienced and more into the groove of things?
Well, I can definitely say that I have gone to other gyms, and nowhere else have I found an environment like it is here at Destination CrossFit. The community that everybody here helps to create for people that are coming in and are new,
including you.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
really good at helping with this
Oh,
community.
yes, yeah. I mean, it's my pleasure. I remember the gentleman that gave me my good piece of advice when I first came in. He doesn't come anymore, but I remember he told me, don't worry about looking at the weight that other people are putting on their bars. Don't pay attention to how fast somebody else is running. You come in and you want your shirt to be a different color from sweating so much. So that's your only goal. If you do that, then you're working just as hard as everybody else is, regardless. So I think that this community specifically opened up my eyes to not being, because there were things I think with being in other gym settings that I would be embarrassed if I started sweating too soon or sweating too much, or there were just a lot of things that were wrapped up in my head that I realized here it was very clear to me that people were there if I needed to ask questions, but nobody's paying attention to, it kind of helped with that.
Yeah.
I think eliminate that spotlight bias that we all can kind of have, thinking that other people are watching us or paying attention to what we're doing, more than just the coach coming to give me a cue of hey, this will help with your movement, and then it got to the point too where I was I want the coach, every time I'm trying something, I'm will you come check that I did it right? Because I feel like I did it right, and I just want to see from
that feedback
from a professional, somebody that has more knowledge on it.
Yeah, am I actually
did it look good?
Olympic lift right?
Yes.
Or gymnastics movement right, or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So thinking about, that experience, your fears of being judged, your fears of not being able to do things, and clearly you've been able to progress through and learn and, become fit in a lot of new ways.
There are some workouts I can RX.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
Yes.
I really,
Fantastic.
Yes, I love that.
What do you feel really lights you up? What is it that brings your mood up or your energy up when you come to the gym?
Oh man, I feel just stepping in the doors, just getting here is, I'm excited. I try also, I think it helps me a lot that with the time constraints that I had, that I would come in my swimsuit to plunge before class, and that was huge because it was I was kind of I don't want to go get cold right when I get out of my warm bed in the morning. I'm I'm gonna go do this cold plunge. But then as soon as I, spent my 5 minutes in the cold plunge, I felt invigorated. I felt ready for class. Once I was kind of able to work in and have a regular class too, it was nice that we had our own vibe going with, all of our the ways that we interact with each other and give each other a hard time and have fun with it and, tease and be playful and always encouraging. So I think that it really I have noticed that literally just walking into the doors here for me is it's gonna be a better day. It's gonna be a better day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and you've been through a lot, and you were talking about time constraints. You've got a lot on your plate.
Yes.
So talk to me about how you kind of find that balance or choose how to use the gym for what it can do for you, and How does that work with working through these last 2 years that have been really hard and having everything that's on your plate? How do you find that balance to come in here and do these workouts and connect with people?
I feel I set kind of a base for myself when I first started to be consistent about 3 days a week.
That's great. Well, and actually let's talk about some of the things on your plate.
Yes.
That you're a single mom.
Yes. With 3 kids, yes. So I have a soon-to-be 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And I am raising them, 100% single mama without any support from other parents. So, it's interesting. Also, one of the children isn't mine biologically, so that has created a lot of extra stress as far as like not being, just the things that come with caring for a child that you're not on their birth certificate kind of thing. So I kind of have to navigating through has been really tough. And I feel like I came to a point where I realized that like if I was gonna give these kids the life I'd been hoping to give them, with at first ideally with their father in the picture, and now having to do it, completely on my own, that I really needed to be the best version of myself. So that's when it was like kind of like a challenge to me of like, okay, you're tired, you're exhausted, like there barely feels like there's time for anything. The kids have their extracurriculars. I'm trying to, put them in any club they're interested in or get them here and there and work and pay the bills and all the things. But I did realize that this coming in and not only like the physical, what is the word I'm thinking of? Like the physical gains, I guess, or like the physical aspect of it wasn't the only thing. Like this coming in and doing the workouts felt like therapy also when I felt like my schedule was too hectic to like have a talk therapy or do, other types of, like, it really felt like it was a good way for me to like mentally, emotionally, and physically reset and like level up. And so
what's your kids' experience been like with you doing CrossFit?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, at first it was, we started out where I would pick them up and they would be in the kids zone. I've been able to shift things around, so I normally come to a morning class after I drop them off at school. And I mean, the kids zone's always been really inviting. There's usually other kiddos in there for them to play with, and so it's been really cool to see them watch me and be inspired by that. Like when, the summer came and there was an opportunity for like a kids CrossFit, like they do plank challenges at home. We do like hanging on the bar challenges at home. We'll do like push-up challenges at home, just like things I can see that they're modeling that now.
Yeah, they want to do it.
Yeah, and as like, I think it was a pretty hard realization to like see that I was like, here I am at 30 years old and I'm like still struggling with some of like dysregulation, right? That happens. Like I didn't have a lot of tools taught to me at a young age, and so I'm trying to like make up for that now, and then also in a way where I'm learning and I'm teaching my little ones, because I don't want them to have that struggle for such a long time in their life. I want them to be able to work through and help self-regulate earlier on. And I feel like after seeing what like CrossFit has done for me, and then seeing what it does for my kids to be able to run around in here too, I'm just like, it was like a thing where I was like, dang, I feel like I really missed out on like a lot of years of having an outlet that was more healthy, like, and I think it's really cool to see the way that my kids follow, like we all know that our kids are sponges and that they're like constantly, like it doesn't matter as much what you tell them as what they see. They follow, but like.
Right, kids learn in 3 ways. By example, and by example.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. That's so funny too, because, you think like, monkey see, monkey do, or, but if I tell you to do, it really is all just by what they see. So I think that that's been another perk of like, this gym specifically, like the community events that we have, like the times where the kids come in to do the open, and like I remember doing my first open and feeling like I was way behind the skill level of everybody else, but I was just like, I'm just gonna come in and L1 and do what I can. And I had a whole people from different classes that I barely knew that were hollering my name to cheer me on, and to keep going and don't give up. And so it's been experiences like that really I think have brought my kids to even more feeling like this community is a lot like a family, without trying to sound too cliche or like we're a family here. Like it really does feel like that.
Just a lot of support and
Yeah.
feeling like you belong here.
Yes.
Yeah, your kids belong here.
Yes.
Yeah. And we have our two youngest are the same age. So,
Yeah.
man, and when you started here, I mean, I was also just starting back, like postpartum, like kind of, and you crushed it. You came back. I mean, you came in your first time as I was coming back, and you've just done amazing with all the things you've,
Thank
learned and honed and improved upon.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't have any idea that I had that much strength. And I think it was, like for me growing up, anger was like an emotion we stayed away from. Like there was one member of our family that showed excessive amounts of that. So that was like their emotion.
Yeah.
And it was the one I was afraid of. And so I didn't ever know how to process it, turned it into sadness. And when I came into the gym, I was like, this is what I can do with my anger. Like this is a safe way for me to get, because it turns out it didn't go anywhere. When I thought I was transmuting it to sadness, it just kind of still stayed as anger, just bottling up. And so
be let out one way or another.
And so that was like a safe and healthy, way for me to do that. And then it also like blew my mind when I was like, oh, if I can get a little bit mad, all of a sudden I can do way better in this workout than I planned, like
instead of anger being something that should be avoided at all costs, we look at, all of our emotions as signals and tools.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
It's definitely like been, I can't even, the tears in the eyes finishing the workout with like all of the things running through my head of why, why I deserve to finish this workout even though I don't think I can, and why, like nothing can stop me from finishing this workout because I'm not going to give up on myself. And so I think it taught me a lot about that and self-love, which like I didn't expect to find in a CrossFit gym. I would have assumed something like that would have been like with a therapist, right? Like, or a psychiatrist, or, in some other, but it has, I think I can see a big impact in the way that it's not only the kids being a part of like what we do here and like being excited to like try lifting weights or just wanting to lift the bar or do these things and like to be able to like show them in a safe way, but also that they really are receiving a better version of me.
Yeah.
And that that was like my biggest goal. And with,
they see you as strong and fit and, kind of someone to look up to and aspire to be like.
Yeah.
Just with your fitness even.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also like all the other aspects with mental health and emotional processing.
Right.
And all that.
Yeah, definitely nothing beats it if you can get your kids in the kid zone hollering for you when you're at the very end of a workout and you feel like you're dying and somebody goes over there and says, yell, go mama, go, like that's happened a couple times where the coaches or whoever's finished the workout first goes over and is like, hey, cheer your mom on, and then hearing their little voices, I'm like, yes, I can, one more rep, I can't, I can, 5 more reps, I've got this. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Well, and then the other thing is, finding your different strengths, coming into the world of like gyms and fitness, there's kind of this idea that everybody should end up like a cookie cutter version, right?
Right.
Like, well, everybody should look like that fitness influencer. But then in here, we all find like, actually, I may not be excelling at this thing that fit person who looks like this does, but look at me crush in this other area that happens to be in my wheelhouse.
Right.
So it's really nice kind of having all of that variety because as someone who also has dealt with like all sorts of insecurities or issues with not being a tiny person, and still having a very kind of normal experience, I just know there's so much stigma and so much self-judgment too.
There really is. And that's the thing that actually when the internship opportunity came up, I was so excited to take part in, and I loved that it was like not so intense that I was able to actually fit it into my hectic schedule and complete that. And so like that was like, I believe a 6-week thing that, had been set up, and it ended with me like actually coaching a class from start to finish. And I really realized that, I think it's important for especially like women, to, not be afraid of recording yourself in the gym and posting content to like normalize anybody doing any kind of movement. And there's been things, you know, like I believe my sister's still helping kind of with the social media side here at DCF from afar. And I remember she sent me this picture of me doing like I can't even remember what the lift was. But I was like, oh my gosh, no, like, I don't want you to share that picture. And she's like, everything about you, like your heels are planted, like you know, what are you, why not, you know? And I was just like, okay, yes, go ahead. Cause you're right. Like that's my own thing. And really, I realized that I would love to, like, the time spent in this box has shown me that I would like to do it, like, as I would like to pursue it more as a career and be there to say, like, we're not here to invite you to come in a size, you know, 16 and walk out a size 0. Like, that's not what it's about.
No.
Like, we want you to come in here and see how strong you are. And, like, definitely anything that I've seen on social media that are like, we care about the weights on the plates, honey, not the weights on the scale, is really how it feels. Because, like, you know, I've fluctuated still with my weight and my, you know, it's not like I've snatched my waist in the year that I've been here, but I mean, I kind of have. It just, there's, you know, there's lots of things with, lots of steps to it with nutrition and things like that I feel like are a bit of a challenge with 3 kids and stuff that, you know, like I could be farther in my journey, but what's most important is that I feel great about how far I've come, you know, and from that like first 20-inch box jump that I explained, and then I got like I can do a 24-inch box jump.
That's so awesome.
Until I rolled my ankle.
Right, I
sprained my ankle. So
that, which kind of took you out, but you're back, which is great.
Yes, and you know, being okay with modifying workouts, because yes, you know, this again just proof to how much of a community, you know, is here, was that we were doing runs around the gym. Running was a part of the workout that day. And, you know, once somebody figured out that I was hurt, everybody was out there to help me. You know, it was a partner workout. So my partner literally took the shirt off of his back, like, shout out Ryan, to like tie the bags of ice to my ankle. You know, you pulled your car around and took me to the ER yourself. Like, we, as embarrassed as I was, and as much as I was just like, I came in, I really wanted to practice running because I dislike that. And so I'm trying to get better, and I keep doing, right, exactly. You know, that was when it was very clear to me, like, you know, the struggles I had with crutches after that point, and living in a 2nd-story apartment with 3 small children. And I remember telling Nikki that I was like, oh my gosh, like, going up the stairs with the crutches, like I felt so weak after I'd been feeling so strong from, you know, CrossFit for the last year. And she was like, yeah, imagine how you'd feel if you hadn't been coming to CrossFit for the last year. And I'm like, thank you for like, Nikki's great, you know, and you're great too at like helping just kind of reframe it, like fit it in a different, like what, you know, because the truth is, like, I don't know how much worse it would have been to not have built the strength in my body that I had to sustain the time during that injury. You know, so coming back and just being like, it's okay if I can't do what's on the board. That's been a hard hurdle in my head, because I'm like, it's written up there. I want to do it. It's so hard. I want to do it as it says, as it's written up there.
Been there, but you now are coming. I just love seeing you work out, not limp, like doing good, and it's really good to see.
Yes, I'm so glad to be back, and definitely to also realize that, you know, it's okay to modify, and like there's nothing embarrassing at starting at L1 or even going lighter than what L1 or lower on a box or anything like that. Like, this is, you know, meant to empower. It's not, you know, and I feel like that's something that, you know, going to a YMCA or going to a different, you know, the couple different gyms that I've tried out where it's just like nobody really talks, everybody's doing their own thing, nobody really, it's like a very, you know, I don't know, waiting for machines or impatiently, like, or weird looks if you stand up and there's a sweat line on the seat type of thing. Like, I never, I think that it really should be like about everybody's in here to better themselves, and so we should be like high-fiving left and right and encouraging everybody to, you know, your best for you is very personal, right? Like, it's not going to be the same as somebody else's. And so we're here, like, here to help you with that journey. And, create more like body positivity around fitness, and also that, you don't have to look a certain way to be able to lift a certain amount, or you don't have to you don't have to have the fastest 400-meter dash to,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I feel like you've been such a positive presence here in our gym. I mean, you've just, was it yesterday we worked out together? Were you here yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just am like, yes, I love it. You've got such an awesome like energy and attitude that you bring, and you've just really honed your fitness so much, even with your injury, like having you come back, and it's really amazing. So I'm very proud of you, and proud to be your friend and have you here.
I feel the same way. Yeah. And I think it's something that's just been, easy for me when I'm like dying in the workout to just like yell to encourage everybody, because I don't know if they're dying as much as I am, but I'm like, hey, like, a call to the whole box. Let's go. We got this.
It's amazing.
Keep it up.
Yeah, it's amazing how much like energy you get from like a high five or like a shout out to somebody else, or they shout out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
definitely.
It's really good.
And I love that too, because I can say that like I don't always feel positive, and there have been days too where it's like after I built relationships here, I was like on my worst days, I kind of didn't want to come in and have people be like, how are you? Because of course that's how we greet each other, because we care about each other and stuff. But it like, I still felt safe to come here and be like, I'm not doing the greatest, like, thank you for asking, and them just knowing like, that's cool, like have a good workout, or you know what I mean, like it not being like any forced awkward conversations, or like, I feel like you, as well as other people that are in class with me normally, have said that I bring a positivity. And so it's like, sometimes when I like feel like I don't have that to share or bring, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go. And I'm glad that I've been able to get over that in my own head and be like, those days that I don't have that positivity are when I need to go. And then I notice that, like, other people cheer,
someone else
like the
shoulders
cheerleader,
that.
exactly.
Yes,
Like,
we're there for each other.
Exactly.
I know. I was talking to Nikki about that too. I was like, sometimes I go in there and I'm like, man, am I like just not? I'm like not giving as much, in a way that like normally I want to. High fives all around, and sometimes I just don't have it.
Yeah.
But exactly like you said, like those are the days where we can be receiving, right? And that's also valid.
And I feel like everybody that's like can relate to that is also like, that's when we want you to get your ass in here.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to cuss on the podcast?
I think that word, it's a 3-letter word. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
That's when we want you in here the most, because that's when that workout and doing something extra hard on top of whatever's on your mind that's bringing you down is probably going to be the most beneficial, thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to share as far as, advice or any like major wins or anything, just as we wrap up here? Because this has been an awesome conversation. But I want to make sure you have your last words of wisdom for everybody, because you've got, you've definitely experienced it and learned a lot, and you have so much to share that's so positive.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I would just want to emphasize that like this place has truly saved my life. Like in times where I felt the darkest, and I called 988, and I'm trying, and I look at my beautiful children and I'm like, how can I be thinking this way? Completely down on myself for being in such a dark place. And then I came here, and then that day I made it through another day, and it's happened like that, like more than once for me here, and so I just like really, I want to encourage people to try, to just give it a try, just start somewhere. And even if it's not at a gym, and even if it's not like, I realize there are so many boundaries, or like, not boundaries, but like things that can hold us back, right? Like limitations with finances or schedules, or there's lots of things, but also another big thing that I learned was like, it's a privilege to be able to move my body. I used to think of the gym as like, or see people running down the street, and I'm like, oh my God, ouch, why? Like, horrible idea. What are you doing? And now I've learned that it is such a privilege, and like to move my body out of love for it instead of hate for it, flipped the entire script for me. Because of course, at first I was like, I grew up big. And so, you know, that was always the thing that was, you know, like I was bullied for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so instead of looking at it as like, you know, society or the, you know, the image of what I'm supposed to look like as a female and all, whatever, all the roles, all the things, do it because I love my body and I want to be stronger and I want to be able to do more things and say yes to opportunities. Like, you know, we just did the turkey trot, and that's the second 5K my family has now been a part of. And I'm like, I'm stoked that I am now the type of person that wants to do, like, the type of person. Those types of things never excited me before. I'm glad that I feel like that has shifted, and it's something that's actually fun for my kids too. And it's, again, another way to, like, for us to bond and for me to model, like, we can have fun and we can also move our body intentionally. And even if we're grumpy going into it, every single time we all feel better at the end. Like,
so true. I love that. Well, that's beautiful. And you can just see, you know, the strength that you gain, the benefits that you gain. And like for you to show up on those hard days, like the hardest days that we can have really, and feel safe to come here and work out, and then realize like you can do it and make it through another day. I mean, that's saying a lot. So
it does.
It's pretty amazing. And says a lot about you and your inner strength.
Thank you. Thank you. Without the support of, you know, I think I've been realizing that, you know, that hype of a class time, you know, like there's a lot of open gym time that we have here, and I'm like hoping to get to the point where I'm a little bit more self-motivated to be able to pull off a whole workout like in here with just my headphones. But like for now, the community aspect of it makes all the difference of like, let's suffer together. And then we're going to feel great afterwards.
Right.
Like,
I definitely never thought I would be someone who wants to work out with other people. I think my ego was too wrapped up in it or something. But you're exactly right. It is so much better to be here, part of a class, and suffering together.
Yes.
We
all look at the board, and before like, before the coach briefing, we're like, this sucks. Like, what burpees? How many wall balls? Please no. And then, you know, we knock it out and fist bumps afterwards, and everybody like, great job. Like, how'd it go? Like, you know, we'll wait until you're done dying on the floor, and then we'll come give you a high five too.
Exactly. Cool. Well, I love it. Thank you so much for joining me and letting me join you in this conversation today.
Thank you for inviting me. This place means so much to me, and so I'm really happy to have the opportunity to like share that as far and wide as I can, because you guys have built something so incredibly special here, and it deserves that recognition. And I think that there are more lives than just mine that you guys have saved, whether it's ever going to be spoken, you know, or noticed, and, you know, potentially including your own, right?
Right, like, exactly. Well, we are definitely better together.
That's for sure.
Yes. Good job.